telephone line, I welcome to the program a veteran Major League Baseball catcher who played 14 seasons in the major leagues from 1994 to 2007 and is currently the head college baseball coach for the Park Buccaneers of Arizona. I welcome to the program Kelly Stinnett. Kelly, Brian C., thanks for being on this morning.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. So, Coach, I want my listening audience to get to know a little bit about your years in the game of baseball. Why don't we begin with your years at Seminole Junior College, where you put up impressive numbers? Did you get a scholarship to the school?
Basically, I went to a lot of my guys before me went there, and they all got looks to play pro baseball. And I didn't get any D1 offers, so I thought it was the best way to develop. And I was more of a football guy coming out of high school, but being about 5'8" and 200 pounds as a quarterback wasn't going to get me much. So I thought baseball probably my best shot. So went there and developed, got bigger, stronger, had a guy who was more like a drill sergeant, made us a better human being, made me a better baseball player, and, was able to get some looks out of there.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, you did put up impressive numbers during your tenure. You're holding national home run records. What was the team culture like playing for the Trojans and playing for a Hall of Fame coach, Lloyd Simmons?
Man, it was baseball 24/7 back in the day. We had no game limits. That's why, so a lot of those records will never be broken. We played my freshman year, we were 79-23, and my sophomore year, we were 89-5. So we played a lot of baseball. It was pretty much every day, baseball in school.
Yeah, and Coach Simmons, who later became a coach for the Royals, I believe, and later a scout for the Yankees, he must have been a handful of knowledge, huh?
Yeah, he was the biggest thing is we had guys that come back. So guys that played, minor leagues, got some big league guys come back every fall, and they had worked with us. And I think that was just a testament of what Coach Simmons, we call it Zero, it was his number. What Zero did for us is, he may not have known it, but he's going to find somebody that could teach you and make you a better player as well.
Yeah, amazing. Winning over 1,800 games at the school, really impressive. So, Coach, 1989, 1990, pivotal years for you in your career. Junior College Player of the Year by Baseball America, and you get selected 11th round, right? 89, signing with the Cleveland Indians. What was that experience like?
It was great. I didn't get to catch as much my freshman year. I was more of a hitter, DH, caught a little bit. So my mindset was go back my sophomore year. So I got drafted my freshman year. So I turned down a little bit of money. So I'm going to go back and become a better catcher and try to win national championship at Seminole. Came up a little short. We finished third. My draft status went up. I caught better. And I was actually what they called back in the day a draft and follow. So you could sign back in the day. They had your rights up until the day before the next draft. So I signed like 2 hours before midnight the day before the following draft with the Indians.
Wow. So how did you first did you have a feeling that you were going to be selected? How did you first get word of your draft? Where were you exactly?
I was actually working in a hardware store in the hometown of Lawton, Oklahoma. And I was probably cleaning the bathroom or putting some wood away. And one of the front office guys came and said, "Hey, there's a phone call for you." So I went and answered the phone, and that was the Indians. They had drafted me. So I already had it made in my mind that even if I was getting drafted, I was going to go back another year. So it played out a little bit. I knew the guys that drafted me. Actually, Jimmy Richardson went to Seminole. He was the area scout for the Indians. I think he's pretty high up with the Orioles right now, but he was the guy that made the call, and we talked, and I told him what I wanted to do, and he was good with that, knowing that, hey, if I have another good year, the money will get better, and I'm going to get better.
Oh, absolutely. And then, how was it your first at bat facing minor league pitching? Now, you were on the 1990 Watertown team, right?
Yes.
And that was under manager Jim Gabella. How was that experience like? How was the first at bat facing minor league ball?
Well, it was everybody threw harder, and you had to adjust the wood back because we always used the old aluminum back in the day, and we didn't have much access to wood bat. It took me a while. To get used to hitting with the with the wood bat was a little difficult for my first probably year, actually, before I finally made the adjustment and got better swinging the wood. And I was still a bad catcher too back then. And, luckily they stuck with me and I was able to turn the corner. But that first season is such a blur because we played 89 games, so 89-5. I came home for 4 days and they shipped me off to, went to Cleveland for a 4-day workout, all the guys that got drafted. And I went to Watertown right after that for another, 70-something games. So that was a lot of baseball, and it was my mind's a little foggy from those days, if you could understand.
Yeah, no, I understand. So, so like the Watertown team, that was A-ball, and then you played fast forward a couple of years later to the Charlotte Knights, where that was a AAA organization and playing under Charlie Manuel. Do you remember that experience playing for Charlie Manuel? A great baseball man, great baseball mind.
Charlie's all-time favorite. You just show up to the ballpark, play hard. Had a little West Virginia accent to him, and he was a player's manager. And plus, back then the Indians, that early '90s, we had some pretty good players. We had the Manny Ramirez and Jim Thome, and who else? Alan Embry was on that team. A lot of guys that played in the big leagues for a long time were on that team, and we were fortunate to win that league. And that was a good memory because I put up some good numbers down the stretch to help us in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, you did. I mean, you produced very solidly. I mean, you were hitting 274 as a catcher at that level. So I'm assuming that's what caught the Mets' attention, right? I mean, you did put up solid numbers that year, 1993.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I was, the last 2 months I probably played every day. I was platooning early with Jesse Levis, left-handed hitting catcher, and I was right-handed hitting catcher. And Charlie's pretty. And he scheduled out, hey, you're going to face the lefties, you'll face the righties. And then Jesse got called up, so I got to play every day. And then, that winter I went to Venezuela and played a little winter league, and that's when I found out I got Rule 5 by the Mets. So that was a really good winter for me.
So going off to New York, so how is the team? How is the team culture like playing for the 94-95 Mets? Now, you were used as a backup catcher, right, for Todd Hundley, I believe?
Yeah, and we were a little bit – Dallas Green used a little bit of that platoon situation where Todd was at left-handed bat. Obviously, he's a switch hitter, but I was probably a little bit better from the right side. And he had a little more tenure on me. He knew the guys. Great atmosphere. I mean, some great guys. I mean, you got the Saberhagens and Francos and Bonillas. And, it was just a who's who of guys. We just didn't play very well. Those 2 years in there, we struggled a little bit, keeping everybody healthy. I mean, Doc was on the team, and, Doc got hurt and has his issues. And, it was just great town. Love New York, love the Mets. Like I said, we just weren't very good on the field.
Yeah, I mean, and Dallas Green, he was the manager. Much of the 1995 season, Hundley was hurt, if I recall. So you must have seen a lot of action behind the plate that year, 1995.
Yeah, no, I got caught something after this time early in the year. I think we were in Colorado, and then I caught and I struggled. I mean, it was a big learning curve how to figure out how to catch every day at the big league level. And, that was our strike year too, where we didn't have a really good spring training. So we came in late. I might not have been in the best shape either. And I learned my lesson, and there was never a winter after that I didn't come in, at least try to be the best in shape person I could be as a catcher. So, you learn. A lot of guys don't. I think I did. I was fortunate enough to play a long time. But yeah, coming to that 95 season, it was a tremendous struggle, and I think that's why I got shipped off to the Brewers.
Did you like the energy at Shea Stadium? Did you like playing in Queens?
Oh yeah, I mean, like 94, I was, I had a good year. I the last 2 weeks I struggled, but for the most part, I hit really well. I played good, and everybody likes it. And then you come in the next year and you're hitting a $190, and it's New York, man. If you don't perform, they're going to boo you. So you kind of take it with a grain of salt and try to figure out how to get better. But love the atmosphere. I mean, people are great. They treated me great. They still do.
Yeah, and the fans know their baseball. That's for sure. Now 96, 97, you played under Phil Garner for Milwaukee.
Yeah. So I was up and down those 2 years at the Brewers. they had Mike Matheny was there, and then they traded for Jesse Levis, so I was with Jesse again. And then they had Dave Nielsen. So there was basically 4 catchers. I was in that mix, and Matheny was the number 1 guy, great catch-and-throw guy, didn't hit much. And then I was just sitting down in the minor league. So, mindset is go down there and kill it. And I did. I was tops in home runs in the league, and I think it was 96. And then 97, we knew there was 2 expansion teams coming in. So I said, I got to go up down there and put up some numbers. I can't pout, get it done. And that's when Buck Showalter and his crew were making all their rounds. And I think every time he came to one of our games, I killed it. So I think that's one of the reasons why I got picked in the expansion draft in 98, because I went down, Milwaukee still believed in me. And I was up and down. Somebody got hurt, I would go up. I didn't hit really well at the big league level that year when I did get called up. So, that's why I say it was an adjustment. Learning how to hit big league pitching, it took me a while. So, I went down and made some adjustments, and then 98 came along, and that's when the DBacks took me in the expansion draft.
Yeah, because you're right. 97. Now 97, I guess you went down to AAA, but again, AAA you produced very well. Your statistics show you hit 321 with nearly 30 extra base hits, which again drew attention to the Diamondbacks. Now you were part of that historic season, right, with the Diamondbacks, their inaugural year.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that was, once again, you're coming in there with a bunch of new guys, and Buck was great. Buck's one of my favorite managers, very, very organized, especially with a bunch of new guys coming from different organizations. So I had a bunch of rules, which was fine with me. And, we started out very, very bad. I think we were 6-30 or something, and then made some moves, got some guys in, and had a really good last 2 months. And then, that off season is when they signed Randy and Stottlemyre, and I think Matt Williams was already there, but he started performing. We got Gonzo and Stanley. So they stockpiled that following winter.
Yeah, and I mean, you also posted great numbers that first rookie season for the Diamondbacks, 1.6 wins above replacement, and you had 107 on-base slugging percentage, which really gave respectability to the team that first season.
Yeah, I think one of the things that gets overlooked a little bit is my catch and throw back in those couple of days. So I got Sam and Seth Levinson aces out in New York, and they they got all the stats, try to get as much money as we could. And I was like one of 2 catchers for like a 2-year period that hit with those type of numbers, but threw out over 30% of the runners. So that's one of the stats that kind of gets overlooked too is being able to catch and throw a little bit back in those, catching guys like Randy Johnson and, Todd Stottlemyre, those guys that demand a lot out of you behind the plate.
Yeah, and then, going midway through your baseball career, you joined Cincinnati, the Reds, and there your teammate is Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, how was it playing with Ken Griffey Jr.?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, he was obviously one of the most talented players you'll ever play with or ever see play. But, the 3 years I was there, he was hurt all 3 years. At least one point, he lost a chunk of the season. But, man, when he's in the lineup, I mean, that's a huge difference maker. And, and he's great off the field. I mean, he's a great person, took care of us, fed us, take us out for steak dinners and stuff. But, yeah, he was a great guy to play with.
So you played 14 years in the major leagues. You ended the season, you ended your career with the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, were you playing for Russa?
Yes, sir.
Now, all these managers that came into your life, I mean, which is the most you learned from? Was it Russa, Manuel? Which was the most, instrumental in your career?
Well, I kind of take it, as what I tell everybody is, I played for the Dallas Greens and Buck Showalter, Tony Pena, Bob Boone's, LaRussa. So I try to take a little bit of what they taught me or I thought the best attributes were, and I try to apply them to my coaching abilities or my managing abilities. They all had something that they did great. Buck was a great organizer, took a lot of pressure off you. Tony Pena was loose, had fun, kept everybody light. Dallas Green was, tactician. He got in your ass a little bit whenever you weren't doing good. And, he expected a lot out of you. LaRussa was very communicative. I was there for almost a half a year, but every moment I was on the bench, I was either sitting beside him or trying to stand beside him and trying to pick his brain or watching his actions of how he went about the game. I mean, he's thinking 2 innings in advance, every game, and he's got every scenario played out in his mind. So that's why I got from him is, he's such a great thinker that he thought ahead, and that's why he slowed the game down. I mean, if you ever realize that Tony, his games are slow, but he slows the game down so he can make the right decisions or at least put guys in position to be successful.
We're talking with Kelly Stinnett, former Major League Baseball catcher for 14 years, and now college baseball coach for the Arizona Park Buccaneers. So what made you get into college coaching, Coach?
I dabbled a little bit in the minor leagues. I was a minor league coach with the DBacks in 2011, and it's a new game with all the stats and the smart people in the front office and old grunts like me are we're kind of getting weeded out. So the hours are better, the pay was a little bit better. I got to watch my kids a little bit more because I got 2 kids actually playing for me now. But back then they were in high school, so the long hours of being a minor league coach kind of hampered that a little bit. So I decided just to start club baseball. So for a few years I used to do the club thing. I had a warehouse. We were up to 14, 15 club teams. We're in Arizona, so we don't have to travel that far, whereas there's a tournament or 2 every weekend here. So, I made a decent living doing that, was able to teach kids. And then I started the program at Benedictine Mesa for 2 years. And we had a really good 2 years. We won 36 or 40 games back to back. And then Park came on the scene and asked me if I'd be interested. And I'm like, yeah, because curriculum's a little bit easier to get guys in. The pay's better once again, better benefits. So I jumped ship there, and I've been with Park for 4 years now.
Coach, I played college ball for about a year at USC, and I remember a scout telling me that the chances of making it to the major leagues is like the chances of getting hit by lightning. How difficult it is to make it to the major leagues?
Well, I mean, you got to have a lot of luck. I mean, I know coming out to the Indians organization, there was a lot of good catchers in front of me, a lot of guys that played at the high level, D1. And just so happened 1 year, 3 of them in spring training got hurt. I got bumped to AA. That was 92. And I had good success there. I was able to leapfrog those guys. And, then I went to instructional league that winter in 92, had a really good instructs. So that's where you got to have a lot of luck. Guys do the right things, stay out of the bars, pick your spots when you're going to do stuff, get in the weight room. And I think I was really dedicated in that. And that's what I'm trying to instill in my guys now. Okay, we got goals we got to reach, and we got to set those goals within a time frame. When we started our practice on Monday. We go all the way to the end of May. We're here to win national championship. So if you're doing something to not put us in a position to be successful, then I'm going to figure out how to get rid of you and bring guys in that will. But, just doing the right thing. I mean, it's a lot about doing the right things and having some luck in your corner.
I mean, one of the prime positions that I remember scouts would look for, being a left-handed pitcher. They're very scarce to find good hard-throwing left-handers, and also good hitting catchers. They were always prime positions that scouts were looking for here in the East Coast. I don't know if that still stands today.
It's tough to see. I mean, right now we see a lot of guys with velocity. I had a guy last couple of years, really successful, 92. He can throw, he can spin it a little bit, got good breaking balls, and just never got a sniff. So, it's a different game now. I mean, you gotta be an analytics guy, I guess. You gotta have X amount of exit velocity, and you gotta be able to throw the ball, with X amount of velocity across the diamond. You gotta be able to run that 60, in that 6-7 range. So it's changing a little bit, and that's why the scouting department is not. I don't think they rely on it as much anymore. Everything's a lot more centralized now. If you haven't noticed, they have all these big events that Major League Baseball sponsors. So they'll bring the guys in, and it saves them a lot of money, and they get all these talented young men in front of them. So, the game's changed. I mean, it's not there's not so much heart in the game anymore, from what I've been told. It's all about, going out and doing what you could do, and a little bit more selfishness, not so much team oriented. So that's just my perspective from 10,000 feet and 14 years away from the game at that level.
Yeah, and I'm assuming. And I'm assuming, you get a lot of egos in the clubhouse. Managing egos is really a trait that you have to have. Do you encounter that with your organization?
No, I mean, we nip in the bud. I mean, you have a leadership group, core guys that they monitor them. I mean, it's I was listening to sports radio every day, and listening to some of the old guys talk about cultures and. They're good teams, they're bad teams. Well, the good teams have always had a good leadership core of guys that regulated themselves, policed themselves, make sure everybody was doing the right thing. I'm not going to micromanage. I don't want to micromanage. I don't want to go check curfew. I'll roll on the road, but we're not going to go out. I'm not a babysitter. I'm here to make you a better baseball player and get you a college education. So if you're not on board with that, then we'll find somebody that's going to do that. But yeah, you got to have a good core of guys to help you with that. And the last 2 years at my university, we have, and hopefully this year we can make the postseason and get over that hump. We were just one game short last year, so we just need to win that one more game this year.
Man, I have a final question because we have a couple of minutes left. What is your opinion on a batting coach? And I always like to bring this up when I'm speaking to a coach on this show. You look at a great hitter like Roberto Clemente. I mean, Roberto Clemente, if you see his videos, he used to hit line drives, one of the greatest hitters of all time, on his front toe. What's your philosophy on hitting, staying back, putting the weight on your back leg?
Well, we're not a cookie cutter, so you'll have some guys that are long, lean with long arms and legs. They're going to hit a little bit different than I was. I was more short and compact. I like to be more balanced. I like to. The one guy that really taught me how to hit was a guy named Jeff Pentland. He's years and years a big league coach. He changed my swing in '04 when I was with Kansas City. He taught me how to use my bottom hand a little bit more because I'm right-handed thrower, right-handed dominant. But once I learned how to use my bottom hand a little bit more, kept my back head in the zone a little bit better. I was a more balanced hitter. I wasn't more on the backside. I like to be more balanced. I get guys that get on the backside early, kind of like the launch angle guys, air quotes, right, that we were seeing now.
Right.
But, yeah, I want to cut the ball in half, just like you said, Roberto. I want to cut the ball in half. I want to create backspin. I want to drive the ball right up the middle. That way if they do hang a curveball, it's okay to hit a curveball down left field line if I'm going to pull it. Same thing. If it changes up in the zone, I'm going to tattoo that thing if it's up in the zone. But I'm going to try to drive the fastball up the middle and keep a balanced swing. But for me, like how you're talking about Roberto, for me, a total weight transfer through the baseball, yeah, you're gonna get more on that little front side, and that back foot's gonna come up a little bit. So I'm not a squash the bug type of guy, but I like to be a little bit more balanced. I think that gives you a better chance of competing with the breaking ball.
And you think a batting coach is necessary for an organization, a team organization, to have?
Yeah, I mean, most of them have two now, and some even actually have a third assistant. And when I was there, I mean, we had one guy. To me, the hardest working guy on a big league staff is the hitting coach. There are hours and hours in the cage. A lot of them, great guys, a lot of hard workers, but they couldn't break down the swing. Why is this? So we'll keep your shoulder in. Well, why is it flying out? For one, nobody could really explain that to me until I got with Jeff Pentland. Well, your front shoulder's flying out because you're right hand dominant. Once your right hand goes, your front shoulder's going to go automatically. So he taught me how the biomechanics of the swing works. So, that's kind of where the baseball has gone now. Is they got three guys, and you got to babysit these hitters. I mean, they're making a lot of money. You got to get them right, and you need as many people there, whether they're going to help you with your swing or help you with your mindset, to help you be successful every day.
And you must have seen so many changes in baseball. Do you still think the popularity of the game is huge the way it was, when you're growing up, when I was growing up, the 70s, the 80s? You think the popularity of the game is still there?
In my area of the country, yes. It's way up there. I mean, last weekend, I got a 14-year-old. He's got practice at 10 o'clock this morning. He's going to the feeder team. He plays on 2 teams. We don't overuse him, but 2 weekends ago there was 5 showcase events here in Arizona, and they were all jam-packed. I mean, I'm getting texts and calls, hey, coach, come and see me, come and see me, come and see me. So in Arizona, and I know California, it's still huge. Everybody sees what the guys are making, on TV. And, I think at last count, there's still only less than 12,000 people, 12,000 grown men that got to put a big league uniform on. So that's not very many, considering how many youth players we have, college players, amateurs, all up and down the spectrum. But yeah, 12,000 to put a big league uniform is not very many. So, but here baseball is very, very popular.
Well, listen, Coach, it was really an honor for me. Great job today. I wish you the best of luck this season.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me. Hey, root for those Buccaneers, and everybody's out in Arizona, hit me up.
Go Buccaneers. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Kelly Stinnett, former Major League Baseball catcher, 14 years. Until next week, happy collecting to all.